calendar month. I'm visiting a village in the Rhondda Valley, South Wales, an area once known for its coal mining.
I'm a coal mining man, and I am who I am, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
This is Tylerstown, named after Alfred Tyler, who had a mine here in the 19th century. So what am I here to see? Well, interesting one this. It's a former shop which has planning permission for conversion into 2 flats. This is it. Now the auction catalogue does say that some work has commenced. That's not the most interesting thing. The most interesting thing is the guide price, which was 15, that's 15,000 quid. So upstairs to one of the flats, and then the larger of the 2 flats is through here. On 2 levels, this level here, and then downstairs to whatever's down there. This has been converted into some kind of an open plan living area. You've got the kitchen at this end, well, sort of. Oh my goodness, what a mess. But yes, it's obviously a partly completed project. Now, you've got this area at the back here, which, again, it's had a bit of plastering on the walls, but I'm a bit concerned about the amount of damp which is still coming through off here, and in fact that wall there is absolutely sopping wet. Now if somebody started to work on this, I would not have expected that to be in that condition if the job had been done to a reasonable standard. And that's the problem with taking on a half completed or partly completed restoration project. You never quite know how good the work that's been done so far has been done, and in some cases it's almost better to rip it all out and start again. Unsurprisingly, the lower ground floor of this bottom flat is also a work in progress, with 3 rooms and nothing in them, which at least leaves your options on how to arrange it open.
Lately, baby, I've been craving sideline, starting over again.
Anyway, onwards and upwards to the smaller 1-bedroom flat on the top floor. So up here, and little rear area there, which I think is going to be the bathroom. But looking up, there's a lintel going across there, and it just does not look like it's been done correctly. Not happy with that at all. But you've got your bedroom there, and then through to your kitchen stroke living room. As I said, this is a much smaller flat. Again, half finished, half done. Again, don't know quite to what standard. But the big question is, what are you going to do with this place? Are you going to keep it as 2 flats, or are you going to think about converting it back into 1 property? And that all comes down to economics, how much it's going to cost to do either of those options, and what that property, either a flat or a house, would be worth after you'd done it. It strikes me that this is one of those ones you're going to have to be really, really, really careful with the budget, because what you don't want to do is overspend and not being able to recoup your money. With every property purchase, finances are, of course, a major factor to consider, and this property proves it in spades. Something you'll need when it comes to tackling what's out back. Well, here at the rear of the property, it does not get any better. In fact, in some ways, it gets even worse. But it just goes to show you should always view both sides of a property. It may sound like an obvious thing to say, but it isn't. There's a sort of an alleyway that you have to come through, and then this rear access road to get to the back here. And what's happened is that when they applied for planning permission, one of the stipulations was that there had to be parking for 2 cars, which is why this has actually been dug out. The problem is, you would have expected some kind of retaining wall to stop all that soil and all the foundations of the property itself slipping this way. Well, that retaining wall hasn't been put in, so literally there is a danger of this whole property collapsing towards the rear here. But when you are at the back, you stare up and you can see all sorts of problems. I mean, exposed brickwork, that's where the damp's coming in there. This extension doesn't look like it's been put on properly, and it's got some kind of a wonky bit at the top. All in all, it's really bad. This place might appear to go from bad to worse, but with that low guide price of just £15,000, could it really be a bad buy? We asked a local estate agent to take a look and give us his thoughts.
This is going to be very challenging. I would suspect several previous owners have attempted to renovate this building and failed.
But hopefully whoever bought this will make it a success this time, and the potential profit will make it worthwhile. Let's begin with rental.
One-bedroom, fully modernised flats in this area are achieving in the region of £250 per calendar month to £275 per calendar month. A two-bedroom flat probably wouldn't achieve much more. You'd still be looking in the £275 per calendar month, but that would have to be finished to a very high standard.
What if it was converted from 2 flats into 1 house?
A three-bedroom house would achieve in the region of £375 per calendar month.
Perhaps selling would be the more attractive option.
A one-bedroom flat I would expect to achieve in the region of £20,000 and a two-bedroom flat in the region of £25,000. Three-bedroom house could be in the region of £35,000.
Well, there's no denying that guide price is incredibly low, but does it make this property good value for money? Well, not necessarily. It all depends on how much it's going to cost to sort it out and how much it's going to be worth as flats or one house. Let's see who bought it when it went under the hammer.
Who's going to get me started at £10,000? Well, this is pocket money to most of you property people in here, isn't it, surely? OK, who's going to start me at 8? Thank you. There's one. Thank you, sir. 8,000 I have. 8. Who's going to give me half? Sir? 9. Thank you. 9,000 I have. 9.5. 10 I'm looking for. Thank you, sir. 10,000 I have. Thank you. 10.5. There we are. 10.5. 10,500 is bid. Any advance, sir? Are you going to come back in? No? OK. I'm going to sell it to you, sir. 10,500. Thank you, by number 48.
That winning bid of just £10,500 was made by criminal lawyer Stephen. He purchased it with Mark, who runs a building company. Friends for years, this was their first property project together. Well, the house may have been cheap, but are these two cheerful? Mark, Steve, great to meet you both.
Hi there.
Congratulations.
Or commiserations.
Oh, well, I don't know, £10,500 in 2012 for a house, it's still a bit whoa, isn't it?
Definitely.
Is that what attracted you to it? Or
Yes,
what?
definitely.
Yeah. I think we were sat at the auction and we'd gone there to purchase something else, and when the auctioneer said £8,000 we'll start out, we thought, well, you know, we'll give it a go.
What did you go for originally?
Went for the property, which was for roughly £250,000.
What?
We budgeted for about 250, 255 for that.
255,000?
Yeah, yeah.
And you bought something for 10.5?
I bought it for 10.5. The chap who was bidding, you could see that he really wanted it, so you know, we ended up with this.
That's just brilliant. This duo are certainly upbeat about their unplanned purchase. But a downside of that is that they hadn't viewed either the property or even the all-important legal pack prior to the auction. And as a general Homes Under the Hammer rule, that's a definite no-no.
As a lawyer, you would think I would look at the legal pack before I went to auction, which I did in respect of the other property, so I knew everything about the other property. We hadn't even looked at the legal pack on this, so we just bought it, which as a lawyer is not the thing to do, really. It's not the thing to do if you're not a lawyer, but as a lawyer, it was criminal. You know, shouldn't have done it.
At least you can see the funny side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, or even the irony of it. It's not that it could turn out very badly, but you know, we took a gamble and here we are. We pulled up outside for the first time and we saw the front and we were pleasantly pleased, weren't we?
Yeah.
We went around the back and I wanted to weep. I saw
Well, what did you expect for £10,500?
Well, we didn't expect much. When we actually came inside,
Which was last Saturday.
we were pleasantly surprised with the inside.
Yeah.
I think it's the outside that is quite daunting, but...
OK, so here you go, you've got your house. What are you going to do with it? What's the plan?
I think it'd be better off turning it back into a 3-bedroom. So I think I'd have the downstairs as a living room, this is a kitchen diner, and the bedrooms upstairs on the 3rd floor. That's my plan.
They both live in Cardiff and have no interest in being long-distance landlords. So, rather than letting, they plan to sell it once it's finished. Ditching the idea of continuing to convert this into 2 flats and making it into 1 house will keep costs lower, as they will have to spend less on fixtures and fittings. How much do you think it's going to cost to get it sorted?
I think 20,000, we won't be far off.
What's the time scale?
To start to finish, 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Right,
So a team of how many people doing that then?
There'll be about 8.
8. Oh, I was going to say it's going to have to be fairly labour-intensive to get it done in that time.
About 8 people.
Do you regret what's happened here, or are you just sort of taking it?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Mark's confident, so if he's confident...
There's a lot of weight on your shoulders, isn't there?
There is. He's putting more and more weight on my shoulders as we go along.
Great. Well, it's a really funny story. Thank you for entering into the spirit of it. Good luck.
OK, thanks very much. We'll need it.
I really look forward to seeing how you get on.
Yeah.
OK.
OK, thanks very much.
Well, Mark and Steve breaking all the rules, and Steve, a lawyer, not reading the legal pack, can you believe it? Now, on the face of it, 10,500 quid, can it possibly go wrong? Well, in this instance, I think it might. The property is going to need a heck of a lot of work, and I don't think the local market necessarily supports the amount of effort and money it's going to take to sort it out, especially from basically just doing it from a resale point of view. So you have to join in later in the show to find out what happens. Well, making the correct decisions when it comes to design isn't just about, say, living with the wrong paint colour for a few years. It can seriously affect your profits.
Yes, turning your ideas into a reality can be a thrill. But have our buyers got it right? Let's see what they're up to. London's calling, and we're back in Lewisham, where Barry had bought this 4-bed terraced house at auction for $291,000. Now there's a man who has the work-life balance sorted. What is the sort of grand plan for you? Is it do a house up, off you go? Is that how you're doing it?
That's exactly it, yeah. Do a house up and hopefully with some of the profits go travelling, come back, buy another one, do it up and do that for as long as I can, really.
He wanted to be travelling again ASAP, so aimed to get the work completed in under 3 months. We returned after 8 months. The property's almost finished, so how does it look now? Simply stunning. So much has been done here. Barry's put in new central heating, carpets, windows, doors, and decorated the whole place, both inside and out. The supposed master bedroom upstairs and the 4th bedroom, which you couldn't even fit a single bed into, have been knocked together to make a master suite. And that wasn't the only place that Barry used a sledgehammer.
Well, the kitchen was probably the biggest challenge. Initially, there was a wall here which separated the kitchen from the dining room, which made it into a very small kitchen indeed. So we decided to knock that down, and we decided to take out the old recess and put a range cooker in there. It's been transformed, really, compared to what it was before. It's got new furniture, it's got new units, it's got a range cooker, the floor's been redone, the walls have all been skimmed and decorated, the windows have been put in, so I think it'd be difficult to recognise it from how it was before.
The kitchen alone cost between £8,000 and £9,000. Barry had set himself a total budget of $20,000, which was ambitious enough. But to get the place looking like this...
Once all the bills are in, I reckon it'll be very close to 30 grand, a couple of pounds either side, so 10,000 over, which is 50% over. It's quite a lot, but we thought it was worth spending the extra money on getting a nice finish rather than trying to cut corners.
I think he's absolutely right. Whenever you're renovating a property, of course you want to keep a beady eye on the numbers. But often you get what you pay for, and spending a little more up front can mean you reap financial rewards further down the line. Although he originally wanted to get cracking on the work pronto, in this instance, Barry put his other pastime first.
My partner decided to take some time out. Her contract came to a natural conclusion, so it was more ideal for us to leave and travel then and then come back and sort ourselves out when we returned. I think it's actually benefited me being away because the market's gone up in the last 2 or 3 months just in this area. It's very good in terms of transport links. It's got great schools, it's a nice park, and it's a nice residential area. You know, on the borders of Blackheath and Hither Green and Lewisham, it's an ideal place to be, really. So.
It may have started later than planned, but the project was done pretty much within his timescale once it was underway. And when he did return, he had no hesitation in getting stuck into the work, especially on the outside, where all was not as it seemed.
If there were any surprise, it was in the garden. We knew there was astroturf there and there was a shed that was blocking out the window. I assumed that underneath the astroturf was earth and I can just cut it and lawn it. Unfortunately, it was actually a yard. So I ended up spending about 3 days with a sledgehammer breaking that up and getting it skipped out and getting topsoil in and putting a new lawn in. So it's, instead of plastic grass, it's now got real grass.
Keeping it real extended to the inside of the property as well. And it's great to see that Barry's maintained many of the property's beautiful period features. He did think about reinstating a wall between the 2 reception rooms, but decided it was better to have a large light space. Now that it's had a cosmetic overhaul, I think it looks fantastic. We invited 2 local estate agents to view the house and see if they agreed.
My first impressions of the property are very good. The owner seems to have finished the property to a high standard. It's been finished in neutral colours. The property's still got some period features which will appeal to its target marketplace, and I think it'll be well received on the market.
It's a lovely Victorian property, nice and airy, beautiful. I think it lends itself to a nice family home.
With the £291,000 purchase price added to the £30,000 spent on the work, Barry's grand total is £321,000. If he decided to let the property, what returns could he be looking at?
If I was to rent this property, I think it would achieve around about £1,350 per month.
If the property was to go up for rental, I would expect it to achieve in the region of £1,400 per calendar month.
I haven't looked into the rental market, but if we don't manage to sell it, then that's something we'll consider. So they're decent figures, yeah.
But letting isn't part of the grand plan, which is to sell this to fund his next trip abroad. So what do the estate agents estimate it could sell for?
If the vendor was to put this property for sale, I would expect him to achieve in the region of £400,000.
If I was to put the property up for sale, I think it would achieve between £400,000 and £410,000.
Yeah, I think maybe a couple of months ago we'd agreed with that, but the market's moved on very recently, so perhaps we'll get a bit more than that, but we'll see.